Hola, hola. I'm Trek with 2Ks, and this is Weekend Crypto. So just welcome to you warriors out there on the Gentlemen of Crypto channel. Again, this is the Weekend Crypto segment, and I'm Trek with 2Ks. And so basic idea is to get into the stories that happened over the weekend. Not any crazy things happening over this weekend, but some things that happened that I'm looking to cover on the recap. And so let us get into what was going on. I started following this Twitter account a couple months back. I want to say in last year, and it's always interesting to see the things that they tend to throw out. Top 7 ICO. So this joint right here actually is in relation to what Ukraine is now like looking to push with their whole making a basically they're looking to make their NFT take the historical moments of what's been going on with them and their we're gonna call it I'm calling it a war with Russia and basically making it into a history, right? Oh, well, sorry, museum. And you can go check out that website for it. It actually is up, and it's in English and in Ukrainian. Um, it this is it caught my attention because of this, right? It reminds me of a project that me and another friend was working on where we were trying to push the utility of using blockchain in combination with a couple of other different technologies that are internet based to say, hey, if you can capture historical moments, here's something that you can use it for. And we were kind of running it that way of like historical moments within the crypto space. But here you have it that what is it? The digital transformation department, which is like the what's his name, the the deputy prime minister is ahead of this all the digital transformation department. So this is like his brainchild. In my mind, though, it does show that there is a use case, which I think as for NFTs, more from a technology basis, to be like, hey, there are other things we can do with it. Now, some people can definitely argue about like, well, why are you using it for this particular thing? Um, that's not even where I want to run with it. Because I'm looking at it from a tech point as far as like, hmm, this seems like something that can be executed. Now, if it gets into the part of like, well, what about the other project that they had that was supposed to lead to the NFT stuff? Who knows? Like it, yo, to be honest, y'all, it just seemed like there is a game being played right now in this whole Ukraine situation, and the way that they're seemingly integrating or utilizing this open source technology, and I've been saying this for a while now, governments like people are free to use this technology for what suits their needs. Some of us are going to like it, some of us are not going to like it. Arguably, at the end of the day, this makes for a net positive because it brings awareness to the things that you can do with cryptocurrency and blockchain technology, NFTs, and that whole new like Web3 line of stuff, right? Arguably, but again, not everybody's gonna like what it's for or how it's being used, but it's open up to governments and the people. And so here we have an example of something, right? Jumping into this next story though, this also definitely, I think this is a big news thing right here. Now, Kraken, we all know, is one of the old school exchanges here in the States. They recently did their whole transition over to signing up in Wyoming. Now, why this is a particularly big story? Because Kraken is making a move to basically be like the bank 2.0, right? Them getting this particular um, Fed account will put them in a new tier of access and how they can move on a global stage within the financial institutions and markets. Now, this is a double-edged sword, right? In that for the net positive, it's Kraken is going to be able to do this thing of being the first crypto exchange to have this type of thing. When you dig into the article, though, they do bring up the thing of it doesn't mean that because they like cleared the first stage and they're making it to the second stage, it doesn't mean that they'll actually get this account. That's an interesting thing. You know, somewhere down here that there was another statement that caught my attention. But nonetheless, I'm gonna also say this: hand claps to the team at Kraken and those folks for getting even this far. Because if you've been following this thing for any bit of time, crypto exchanges, especially the CeFi part of the space, was definitely getting the pushback from traditional banking, whether they were sideways dry snitching or just straight lobbying out against, the exchanges being able to move into the financial sector the way they are now. This wasn't looking like this 4 or 5 years ago, right? But here we are now in this quote monumental moment is kind of happening. What was the line though? There was a line. There's 5 different types of access requests. Wait, no, this includes those access guidelines. Oh man, that wasn't the line I wanted. All right, I can't find the line I wanted, and I have a limited amount of time to try to cover the stuff. And so, moving on to the next joint. Hey, I'm gonna end up doing it where I'm gonna put the links in the comment section on this, so that way y'all can follow up on the stuff that does interest you, right? So moving on to this, here's another one. Yo, there was a number of financial related, like banking institution related announcements that happened over this weekend, which I thought was kind of interesting. Like I'm gonna have another, I think 1 or 2 stories that are related to banking. And so Huntington Valley Bank, a Pennsylvania chartered bank founded in 1871, has submitted a collateral onboarding application to MakerDAO. This is a very, very big watershed moment in that you have a traditional bank that is looking to that did the process of submitting the application to the MakerDAO vote system, the governance system, which is their voting system, to be able to say, hey, we want to be able to do loans within your ecosystem that we can then carry over into our centralized banking ecosystem that would allow us to take DAI tokens. And I'm really surmising in short of like how this will work out and putting it out into the more traditional bank, like as a banking vehicle or a banking financial instrument, right? So loans. Now, that's kind of a big thing in regards to not only are you taking the people who traditionally are in the crypto space and how they would go directly to MakerDAO, but this brings a whole new element of people in who are afraid or who do not look to take the risk themselves of interacting directly with MakerDAO. This is going to be the what is it? Huntington Valley Bank's like customer base. This is going to be their client base. This is going to be their way of working to try to stay relevant to the new type of end user that still wants a certain level of security within the financial system in the traditional sense, but doesn't want to jump and be a degen, like deep dive into the crypto stuff and then have to relearn and figure out what is MakerDAO and how all of this stuff works, right? That's what we're seeing right here, right now. And so it is definitely a watershed moment, but we still have to see, like, will this actually get voted on and approved, and will it actually play out the way that they hope it would play out? Nonetheless, this still does show we are going through our motions of adoption and integration. And I imagine if this actually happens, they're not going to be the first and only, they're not going to be the only bank or institution to look at going to DeFi platforms and being like, hey, let's make it in. Like, how can we do this? It's going to be interesting to see, right? And I think that's what this year, well, I think that's what this decade has in store for us. Now, moving on to this next story. This one, again, a lot of banking things got kind of announced over this weekend. I honestly don't know what the timing of it was, but these were the things that caught my attention. Mind you, there were other things that happened too, but I got to try to give y'all those things that no one's really talking about, right? This bank is called Banklumias, which is in Israel, I think Tel Aviv. It's one of the larger banks out there. Basically, it's themselves connecting up with Paxio and where's that? Yeah, Paxos. So they're connecting with them to be able to offer their user base, again, the ability to buy into Ethereum and Bitcoin. I kind of find it questionable or interesting, or like, wait, why is it only like as low as $5, which they point out right here? Sorry, $15.49. Not 100% certain what that whole situation is for it to be that's the minimum amount, considering how cryptocurrencies work and transaction fee stuff. I thought that was kind of interesting. Not going to read through in the whole article thing, but nonetheless, like, here's another example of there's some things going on in various different jurisdictions around the world where financial institutions are making their way in figuring out how do we either partner with a established crypto company, or how do we get the technology integrated into what our revenue model is, or we figure out a new revenue model that will integrate the technology. As I keep saying, banks, governments, and people are all free to use this technology as it suits their needs. Another example of this. There was something else that caught my attention in this. So they made a point here in this article talking about how some banks just do it where they'll like invest into companies. You see this company right here? You know who they're invested into? They're invested in Consensus. Consensus is the, we'll say, parent company to MetaMask and Infintura, which I always mess up saying the name of the company. But this is one of those ways that other companies in the traditional finance world get into the blockchain world. They do the backdoor deals, or they do some other kind of whatever to be able to back a company that's starting up in the space, while other companies or other banks like Lumia, they just make partnerships, right? So, hey, like, times are changing. Jumping on to this next joint right here. This story had me kind of scratching my head on the end of former Goldman Sachs equities banker and somehow like party producer, whatever, end up pleading not guilty to doing money laundering and basically being, excuse me, as they describe it. And what is the guy's name? The guy's name is Thomas Speaker. I think it's Spiker. A virtual Bitcoin ATM and exchanging cash for cryptocurrencies. Remember, at the end of the day, bottom line, base part of the technology is peer-to-peer is the base part of crypto. I have to say, though, I am kind of curious on how is it that between 2018 and 2021, he only did $2 million worth of Bitcoin. Kind of curious on why. I don't know. To me, that kind of sounds low. But nonetheless, what really got me was this guy pled not guilty. There was a number of other people who were associated with this ring of, you know, evildoers and money launderer folks, all pled not guilty. They all got let go on their own reconnaissance, and they're out. Like, again, like some of the things that came out over the weekend caught my attention for various reasons. This is another one. These dudes were all different levels of working in concert for a drug website that he was also a part of too. He was the one, he was the money man, basically, is what they're saying. But I still find it weird that he was actually able to plead not guilty and like just go about his business. Not go about his business, go back to the business, but he wasn't held over. He didn't like spend time in jail. It was, he got to plead not guilty and they let him go, but like he can't go anywhere and all that. Again, I'm gonna have the link for this in the comments, so y'all could definitely follow up on this. Also, I didn't do the New York Times story on this because I wasn't gonna sign up to New York Times. They're on this whole paywall thing right now for like some of the stupidest articles. This might have been a good article, but I wasn't dealing with it. Nonetheless, jumping into this next one. Where are we? Turkey. So Turkey goes all in on the metaverse. Metaverse is the new buzzword. It's the new hot shit. Everyone wants to be a part of it. Everyone wants to have their own version of it. Again, open source technology to a degree. And guess what? Countries like people are free to do what they want to do with it. Will we agree with how all of these parties individually do what they do with it? No, not necessarily, but here you have it. The way Turkey's looking at this though is they want to have it as like we want to basically use it to train our people into the new age of technology, right? And they're also looking to have the trainers, like get those people in first, get them up tempo, bring them up to the snuff or as far as like how this technology works, how to use it. And then they're gonna go out and make the programs that are able to help people transition into understanding what the benefits are doing virtual setups, metaverses, for education, for like things going on within the country, and basically training up. Let me say it this way: Turkey is trying to set up their human population. I don't know what other population it would be, but they're basically trying to set their folks up for the next stage of like how remote work is going to be, right? Yeah, people are going to be able to go into a physical space and work, but the idea of how much work will be able to be done within the metaverse space, and that's them trying to jump ahead of the curve. Now, I look at it and I kind of wonder like how feasible, how well will they execute it? That's going to be the question. But nonetheless, like they're trying to jump ahead of the curve because they know that, hey, the technology is going to change to where like the remote work thing is going to be a bigger thing. So let's work to have it where we can, in my interpretation of how I'm looking at this, is them looking to bring their workforce population upper hand, but they gotta do the education part to get them to first understand the metaverse part, and then start doing the training, and then start integrating the job things, the job funnels as far as the industries and the different types of things that can be done within a metaverse setting. So whatever can be done online and quote done remotely. Okay, if you know anything about how much coding or other like technical jobs are out there in Turkey and like Eastern Europe, like this kind of makes a lot of sense to me, at least. And here we are on the last thing. On the show, we definitely talk about, well, on general and crypto in general, we talk about community policing. So here's an example of how this is community policing. When I was reading through this story, it kind of made me laugh as far as, yeah, the police did a good thing as for recuperating stolen crypto, and they got it back to the people who got the stuff stolen from them, right? But like, here's the funny part about this. The only reason that they were able to do this because the criminals who did this weren't able to have access. They didn't have access to their private keys because they were using third-party custodial wallets. I think I don't remember the name of the exchange thing, but I don't like. It is mind-blowing to me that people still think it is a good idea to like at the end of the day, at this point, I imagine we all understand or know enough, especially considering that there's free information out here. YouTube is your friend, so is Google, right? Using crypto to do illegal things that are already illegal is only then tenfold exemplified of you looking to get caught if you use cryptocurrencies. And then like when you do it in the stupidest ways, you running stuff through exchanges, you copy and pasting your private keys and then saving it on a Google Drive. Like it's all types of stupidness things that people do out here. And I just be amazed at it sometimes. And in this particular case, that's what well, that's not exactly what they did, but the way that they were caught was they were using a third party custodial wallet off of some exchange, and they didn't have access to the private key, so they weren't able to move the funds the way that they needed to. And then, the law enforcement folks doing what they do, they got them. Like, that's it. I don't got nothing else to say on it. Like you did yourself wrong because you weren't doing due diligence in being let me I don't know, like do I say professional criminal? But anyway, I'm beating this story down, right? Coming to a close. It is what it is. Like I said, a number of things happened over this weekend that were financial, banking institution level related, X amount of watershed moments, like a couple of hand claps to like companies and countries for doing some things to put their people on and put them ahead of the curve. So shout outs to Turkey folks for doing what they doing. Kraken, double-edged sword, but still hand clap because that's a big move right there. Other than that, like I'm Trek with 2Ks. This is Weekend Crypto. This is a Gentleman of Crypto channel. Check out the live stream on Monday. Check out the recap of Weekend Crypto that comes on Monday too. Live stream is at 10-ish, by the way. Coming up in April, it's going to be a number of events down in Miami. So definitely look to come check out the folks from the Gentleman of Crypto. And if you see me, say hola, hola. Let's have a chat. All right. Other than that, hey, have a good week, y'all. I'm Shrek with 2Ks, and this is Weekend Crypto. One.